I want to offer you a simple grounding truth as we head into a new year. The year changes the moment the conditions do. Not when the calendar flips, not when you set lofty goals, not when you promise yourself you'll work smarter. Your year changes when the business conditions change, when friction decreases, when clarity increases, when your role finally rises above the day to day. Today, we're going to talk about how to create these conditions. The 3 shifts every entrepreneur must make before 2026 if they want the new year to feel lighter, cleaner, and far more effective. Welcome to the Budding Entrepreneur Podcast. I'm Randy Bridges, business advisor, consultant, coach, and trusted partner to service-based business owners who are serious about performance, profit, and progress. This podcast exists to do one thing: help you solve the real problems that stall your growth, kill momentum, and burn out the very people who built your business. So let's get started, shall we? All right. We are on episode 229 of the podcast. I'm your host, Randy Bridges. We're coming to the end of the year, and for many owners, this season has a very specific feeling. Not one of gratefulness, not one of happiness. We're talking about a mix of fatigue, pressure, and a quiet desire for things to be different next year. If you're an owner who wants 2026 to feel lighter, not just more productive, this episode is for you. Because today, we're going to walk through the 3 shifts that make next year truly different, not just busier. Later in the episode, I'll show you exactly where friction hides in your business, because if you don't remove that friction now, 2026 will feel exactly the same as 2025. So let's set the stage with a moment that changed everything for me. In a previous podcast, I mentioned how a mentor brought our session to a screeching halt. He said, "Your business isn't the problem. Your order is." What he meant was simple. My sequence was wrong. And when sequencing is wrong, friction is guaranteed. So let's start there with the 3 shifts that instantly reduce friction and set the stage for a very different 2026. Shift number 1, order before goals. High-performing companies do one thing exceptionally well. They build in the right sequence. The goals they set don't fight the business, they fit the business. Before you decide what you want next year, you must decide what the business is capable of. Because when order improves, everything else gets easier. Shift number 2, capacity before effort. Now, effort is admirable. Capacity is transformative. And capacity comes in 3 forms. There's time capacity, where your calendar reflects leverage, not labor. Team capacity, where your people own the outcomes and not just tasks. And system capacity, where excellence is repeatable without your supervision. When owners focus on capacity, their business begins to operate independently of their own effort. This is the shift that changes how your work feels. And shift number 3, role clarity before expectation clarity. Now, you cannot expect more from your business until you expect something different from yourself. See, owners often carry expectations that their structure can't support. I know for a long time I was in that category. And I found that the fix isn't more effort, it's more clarity. When you redefine your role, the business finally has permission to rise to your new level. So now that we've outlined the 3 shifts every entrepreneur must make, let's flip the lens using something called inversion thinking. I first learned this from Taylor Welch inside LaunchKit, which is part of the Wealthy Consultant ecosystem. And the idea is beautifully simple. Inversion thinking is about identifying the forces that guarantee failure so you can eliminate them before they sabotage your year. Instead of trying to predict success, you reverse the question. You look at the outcome through a reverse lens, considering what would guarantee failure and then doing the opposite of that. Now, this isn't new, lots of people do this. But the fastest path to clarity is not deciding what to add, it's deciding what you cannot allow to continue and to move on without it. So instead of asking, what should I do next year? Ask the far more revealing question, what would absolutely guarantee I fail in 2026? Clarity comes from not chasing success, but from identifying the forces that will quietly sabotage it. So, with that perspective in mind, here are the 3 failure patterns that I guarantee to make next year harder than it needs to be. Failure pattern number 1, setting goals on top of broken order. If your business isn't sequenced correctly, every goal you set becomes uphill by default. Your systems are going to lag behind your ambitions. Your workflow will fight your intentions. And the harder you push, the more unstable everything feels. No amount of motivation can overcome misalignment. Failure pattern number 2, designing next year around your effort. If your plan for 2026 is something like, oh, I'll work differently, I'll be more disciplined, I'll push a little harder, then you've already lost your momentum. Effort cannot carry the year. When the year depends on you, the year collapses with you. Capacity must carry the year, remembering that capacity is your business's ability to produce results without requiring more of you. And failure pattern number 3, expecting clarity without creating it. If your lanes aren't defined, the decisions will stay slow. If the roles aren't explicit, your expectations will stay unrealistic. And if authority isn't clear, progress becomes reactive. You can't expect a business to behave clearly when it hasn't been built clearly. Nothing changes until clarity changes. Now let's talk about friction, because that is the true threat to 2026. And here's where it all comes together. Friction. Not talent, not demand, not strategy. Friction is what makes your business feel heavier than it should. And there are 3 forms of friction: structural, role, and expectation. In structural friction, we're talking about workflow drag, unclear lanes, and reactive operations. In role friction, we're talking about decision bottlenecks, owner dependency, and unclear authority. With expectation friction, we're talking about goals that outrun your infrastructure. If friction remains, the year's going to repeat. If friction disappears, lift is going to appear. Now, if you want one simple step to make 2026 instantly lighter, start by removing that friction. We're in week 0.2 of our weekly framework fix, and this week is the friction finder that will show you exactly where your business is resisting you and where to adjust before the new year begins. You'll find that link in a card up in the top right-hand corner and in the video description below. For our closing reflection, ask yourself, what part of this year was truly hard? Was it the work or the friction? If you change nothing but your business's order, what improves immediately? Where did you rely on effort instead of capacity? What expectations do you need to lower, and what structure do you need to raise? And finally, what would 2026 feel like if your business finally supported you? Remember, your year changes when your conditions do. Now, next week, we're going deeper into something most owners never see coming: the hidden beliefs that kill profit. We're not talking about pricing, payroll, or operational waste. We're talking about the quiet cultural habits that drain margin long before month's end numbers expose the damage. We're talking about unspoken norms, the expectations people pick up from you, and the stories your team tells themselves about what good work really means. These beliefs create profit leaks that you can't see until it's too late. And we're pairing that episode with next week's framework fix, the Profit Leak Locator, a simple diagnostic that shows you exactly where profit disappears through behavior and not spreadsheets. If you ever looked at a P&L and thought margins should be higher than this, you're definitely going to want to be here. That's it for this episode. I hope you picked up some valuable insights and maybe even sparked a few new ideas. If you want to keep the conversation going or maybe even explore partnerships, don't hesitate to reach out. And hey, don't forget to subscribe, leave a review, and share this with someone who needs to hear it. The steps you take today could be the start of something big tomorrow. For the budding entrepreneur, I wish you the best in your health, your wealth, your business, your family, everything about you. Take care, and we'll see you back here next week.